Getting involved in red-hot ecosystems of crypto before the masses find out is one of the most lucrative strategies there is. And in today's episode, we're going to teach you how to do it.
Crypto OGs are calling this the next Bitcoin, and now whales are piling in. In this episode, we're going to show you how to ride the wave.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is your place for all things stocks and crypto. From beginner tips to expert picks, use this as fuel for your investing journey, because when you're in the know, your money will grow.
This episode of the Bean Pod is sponsored by MudoHub, the global leader in blockchain-based epigenetics and DNA research.
Over the last 8 years, Mudo has gained worldwide recognition by partnering with top-tier institutions like the King's College London, the University of Singapore, and Web3 giants like VeChain.
With over 70,000 tests conducted worldwide and millions of dollars in revenue, their AI-powered health coach provides personalized, actionable insights to help users take control of their wellness journey.
Users can even monetize their own health data through commercial and clinical research while helping fund groundbreaking discoveries.
If you're betting on DeSci and AI-driven health innovation this cycle, look no further than MudoHub and the DNA token.
All views expressed by speakers on the Bean Pod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the Bean Pod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is Shane, aka the Jolly Green Investor.
And this is Josh, the Nifty Investor.
Today, we're going to teach you a very important skill in crypto, how to get involved in a red-hot ecosystem that crypto OGs are calling the next Bitcoin ecosystem. We're going to show you how to get in on everything here early before the masses so you can make the most possible money.
Okay, surely by now you guys are all familiar with Bittensor. The token is TAO. We discovered this project close to 2 years ago now. I was trading somewhere around $38, $40. It saw a peak of $700. It's now back down to $250 or something like that. In our opinion, this is one of the most revolutionary projects that you'll ever come across because of its fair launch mechanics. It's got the same tokenomics as Bitcoin with the 21 million. It's got the halvings and all these things. It is sitting at the intersection of AI and blockchain technology. This is where the world is headed in terms of, financial gains and all these, this is where the world is heading in terms of a technology advancement. Mm-hmm. AI is coming whether you like it or not. You have OpenAI with a valuation of 100 billion plus. You have Grok, what Elon's trying to do. And then you have Bittensor sitting at a relatively low market cap of $2 to $3 billion at the current moment. We see Bittensor becoming, a top 10 global asset, maybe, at least in the crypto industry.
For sure.
This should be a top 10 project, no question about it. And the more you dive into what Bittensor is attempting to do and the problems that they're attempting to solve, you'll realize just how much of a gem this is. But within the Bittensor ecosystem is another opportunity that we have discovered, and we believe that it's very important to figure out these steps now before it becomes easier and the masses start to do it. Because our philosophy on life and anything in crypto is do the difficult things now so that you can be rewarded for it later. So in this episode, we're going to talk about some of the subnets that are being built on Bittensor and how to accumulate them, because there is a high likelihood that you are buying the next billion-dollar project that is existing in the Bittensor ecosystem that is currently sitting at a $1 million market cap currently.
Yeah, so here's why the opportunity is important right now. Before this, it was Bittensor. There was the Tau token, and we rode this thing from like $20, $30 all the way up to $700, still holding, staking at $200. Doesn't really matter what the price is.
No, I don't care.
Holding long, strong. But a lot of people in crypto, that you're coming into crypto, maybe you don't have that much money. You see a token like Tau that has a multi-billion-dollar market cap. You say, well, no, I want to find the next 50x, 100x. I get that. Well, within the Bittensor ecosystem, there are subnets, and there are, started out, there was only a few subnets, and there was 32, 64. Now there's going to be, there's a lot of subnets. Before, it was still just the Tau token, and all the subnets kind of contributed towards the Tau token. But what we've seen now with the launch of EVM compatibility and smart contracts and DTAU in the Bittensor ecosystem, now you can actually buy subnet tokens. I would say this is comparable to like when the BNB ecosystem launched or when Solana ecosystem launched, and you could buy all the new altcoins on BNB, on BSC, or Solana, or Ethereum. This is what you can now do in the Bittensor ecosystem. So if you go into Bittensor and you see all these different subnets, these are all different AI companies that are using the Bittensor algorithm to do different things, whether it be video generation or crypto price predictions or sports betting analysis or any sort of AI company. They're all using the Bittensor algorithm. Now, for the first time, all of these subnets have their own alpha tokens. We can buy these alpha tokens that represent the subnets, and the better the subnets perform, the better, in theory, the alpha tokens could do. Not a lot of people know how to do this. That's why we think this episode is very important to watch, because I promise you, putting in the work to getting into some of these alpha tokens, these subnet tokens early, could pay off in spades down the line.
Remember, this is extremely risky. Nothing is guaranteed. These subnets, you can think of them as little AI companies operating within a larger AI ecosystem. They are startups, and if they don't perform well, they will get booted from the Bittensor ecosystem. And that's what makes it so beautiful. The cream rises to the top. They receive the most TAO rewards and the most emissions. So that is a beautiful thing about this. If you're not performing, you're going to get kicked out and you're going to receive nothing. So if you invest in that subnet, well, your money's gone.
Yeah.
And remember, these are they're low liquidity right now. It's a slow burn, in my opinion. I think these are going to take some time. So there's different ways of playing it, but we're not going to get into the strategy of playing these. We're just going to highlight how to get involved with. So the very first thing you want to do is obtain some TAO. And you can do that. We've been doing it on BitGet. You can use a referral link in the description. You got to buy some TAO. And then from that, you can transfer it to a Bittensor wallet. So there's different Bittensor wallets you can use. Originally, when we first started out, we were using the Polkadot.js wallet. Bit confusing to set up. So there is the bittensor.com/wallet.
Yep.
This is the Bittensor Chrome extension wallet. There's also a mobile app version. But I believe trying to do everything from your phone right now is a bit clunky. So you want to be doing most of this from your browser. So buy TAO, transfer it to a Bittensor wallet.
Then what you're going to do, TAO Stats is the best website to basically do a lot of this. There's the Yuma website, which is good for choosing and validators and stuff. But TAO Stats, because technically you're staking your TAO with these subnets, right?
Yeah.
You're not it's not the same as you're swapping Solana for a coin. You're technically staking your TAO in order to get these subnet alpha tokens. So you can go onto TAO Stats and it'll show you all the subnets. You can rank them just like in, CoinMarketCap. It shows 24-hour price gain, 7-day price gain, whatever price gain. It shows you, it's interesting because it shows you it's priced things in TAO.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll show you the market cap. It's 100 or whatever TAO. You can also switch that to USD value. So you can see your market caps of these subnets. You can see your fully diluted values. And most of the subnets, you can click on them. They have their own page. It'll link you to their official website. You can check them out, see what they're doing, just like you'd research any other altcoin. And then, so right now, you can basically do your buying and selling, which is staking, on TAO Stats. It's pretty easy if you're native to crypto. It's kind of like using a DEX. But what's actually really interesting, and there's another opportunity here, is moving forward, what we're going to see is a lot of this move to TAOFi. And the opportunity with TAOFi, if you've been following us for a while, you probably have heard of Sturdy Finance. Sturdy Finance is building something called TAOFi, which is going to become like the decentralized exchange, like the Uniswap of Bittensor. And in order to get access, to get airdropped the TAOFi token, you need to buy and stake the Sturdy token.
Yeah, so basically you need to buy TAO and stake it to subnet 10, which is the Sturdy subnet. To do that, you can do that on the Bittensor you can do that on the TAO Stats page. You just basically click on the subnets, go to subnet 10, connect your wallet, and then figure out how much TAO you want to allocate to this subnet. You can do half a TAO, 1 TAO, 20 TAO for all, whatever. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Remember that these are relatively low liquidity. So I personally tend to do 1 TAO at a time, half TAO at a time, because there is a slippage for some of these. Some of them are really high. There's one I was trying to buy the other day. It was 10% for half a TAO. Some of them you can get away with doing 2 TAO and there's a 0.1%.
Right.
So that's what you're going to want to do from there. And then you can monitor your subnet's performance, track your P&L, track how much you've staked and all these other things. But again, these are there are emissions involved. There's all these other things involved with purchasing and swapping your TAO. Because of these emissions, you might see that you've lost some TAO in the process, but you've gained alpha tokens in hopes that it does perform quite well in the future.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just recap here before we get into the next segment of the episode. Buy your Bittensor Tau on BitGet, transfer it to Bittensor wallet, go stake your coins via Tau Stats, via whatever, find a validator, and then search through the subnets on Tau Stats, and you can stake, which is basically buying, and you receive these alpha tokens. If you're used to like buying Solana on a centralized exchange and sending it to Phantom and buying Solana tokens, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just new and a little bit different because it's Bittensor. And then it gets into which subnets do you want to buy. There's all kinds of different subnets. As we mentioned, there's ones that do basically every little different thing in AI. You're going to see some of the subnets have, I mean, it's funny because the top subnets, quote unquote top subnets, have market caps of maybe, I don't know, 10, 12, $15 million USD. Then the lower ones are sub 1 million, right? As you said, there's low liquidity, they're low volume, low market caps. A lot of the fully diluted valuations of these subnets is very, very high because they're brand new tokens, they're alpha tokens, they just got launched. And I thought it was interesting, and maybe you could speak more to this as well, as like this whole like one Tau thing, because the theory is that, so Tau is, there's 21 million Bittensor tokens, just like Bitcoin. And the tokenomics is the same for the alpha tokens. There are 21 million alpha tokens of each of these subnets. And then there's this theory that it will all go to one Tau, and it's pretty complicated.
It's a bit complex, but I think on the subnets page, you'll see subnets value. So the value of Tau is 1.26. So there's currently 44% has gone to the root, and 55% has gone to the Tau alpha tokens. The lower that number is, the closer, because the root, this is where it gets complicated. The root, which is where we stake a lot of ours to like the Yuma group or to Roundtable 21. That's where we get our guaranteed like 20% APY automatically. And that's where we've been getting our gains from. But over time, that is going to change, and more of the percentage of APY is going to go into these alpha tokens. When that subnet value is a lot higher, when it's sitting at like a 2 or 3 or 4, typically that's the subnet alpha tokens are doing quite well, and that is a time where people are probably going to be selling.
Right.
The closer it gets to 1 is a better time to potentially be buying these alpha tokens.
It's like a buy-sell indicator, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's obviously a number of, like we said, there's a number of other things that are involved in deciding which tokens you want to get involved with. Again, we are heavy onto subnet 10 sturdy due to the fact of the Tau Fi airdrop. So I have a lot of my Tau allocated to that subnet currently.
Yep.
There's a few other ones I like. I've really got into subnet 68 because it's a decentralized like science type of play. AI drug discovery company developing therapies to reprogram body and mind. It's all about drug discovery, and they're going through like these libraries of medicine and identifying these drugs that could potentially change the world in like literally 1,000+ times faster than a human can possibly do it. And this is like incredible drug discoveries that are going to occur. And this thing's sitting at like a $1 million market cap.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Like once people start to figure out what is going on here, I think it can do quite well.
For sure. So yeah, we definitely like subnet 10 sturdy. Some other ones we've talked about, like subnet 8 Taoshi, the proprietary trading network.
Yeah. So if you go to the taostats.io/subnets, you can see the emissions they're receiving. So they're receiving right now 11% of all Tau emissions.
Yeah.
That basically is saying that this subnet is performing extremely well, so they're going to receive the most amount of Tau.
Yeah.
So that is very impressive.
That's one I like. Another interesting one that we've kind of touched upon in the past is that Bittensor, Subnet 30. It's basically using AI to start predicting sports betting. And, we are sports bettors, so I find that one interesting. Other ones, there's, we like Sturdy because it's it does have the Ethereum token. People know about it. There's also Massa, which is one of the only other subnets that's invested specifically in by Barry Silbert and Yuma. So it's real-time data. They've got also their ERC token. But I think anything that you see Barry Silbert and Yuma Group really backing, I think has a better chance of succeeding. And Massa is another one of those. That's Subnet 42.
There's some other ones you can look at. Like if you just click on the emissions, you click on click on the emissions, and then you can scroll all the way back to way back some other subnets that are saying like 50th ranked. They might have just got started or something like that, right? And their market cap could be sitting at like 200,000 currently. But that's not to say that they're not going to make some breakthroughs and start to attract more Tau emissions and thus in return become a more valuable subnet. They also just introduced, because these alpha tokens, these subnets are receiving these emissions, they typically sell. They now have provide, and that's what I love about Bittensor so much, that they've provided this opportunity now where the subnets can now burn their emissions, so they don't have to put them onto the open market.
Yep.
I think that might start, subnets that start doing that could start to attract more investors.
Yep.
Because they know they're not going to see that reduced that there's going to be a reduction in sell pressure that all these subnets currently experience.
Yeah, it could be good for the price of Tau as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is the price of to get these subnets, you have to buy Tau.
Yep.
So right now we're seeing a lot of current Tau holders swapping and buying for these subnets. I think in the future it's going to start to attract more outside investors, and we're, again, to buy these subnets you need Tau.
Yep.
More people start to figure this out. The price of Tau should also inevitably do quite well.
That's why I keep saying it's a parallel to like when BNB went on that crazy like 500x run, because everyone was buying those BSC shitcoins on PancakeSwap, right? Everyone needed to buy BNB to buy SafeMoon, whatever the fuck it was. So BNB went on a 500x run. Same thing what we saw with Solana last year. Everyone wanted to buy Solana meme coins. Everyone wanted Solana shitcoins. So Solana did 100x or whatever, 10x. This is the same thing that we think is going to happen with Bittensor. Eventually, when AI crypto really comes back into it, people understand the power of these subnets. People are going to need Tau to buy these alpha subnet tokens. And the good thing is, it's different than these PancakeSwap shitcoins or these Solana shitcoins, because there's way less tokens to buy. There's not that many subnets compared to these thousands of meme coins being created every day on these other L1s. There's not that many subnet coins. And you know, most of them, if not all of them, are actually real companies. There have been a few fake ones I saw coming out recently.
Yeah, but they immediately got rid of them.
Yeah.
The way this team acts is incredible.
I love
some
it.
of the smartest minds on the planet.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so bullish for Tau and all these tokens, because once people really start to understand the power of it, there's less alpha tokens to buy. So if there's a massive inflow of billions and billions of dollars, all of these alpha tokens, it could be the tide that rises all boats here. And because there's not a massive dilution of thousands and thousands of fucking shitcoins, then I think you're going to see a massive price appreciation for Tau and potentially massive price appreciation for a lot of these subnet alpha tokens. So that's why we say the time is now to dig into it, look at all this research, decide if it's right for you. It is risky early stage, but as we say, getting into these risky early stage things with a couple more steps than usual is usually quite a lucrative strategy.
Absolutely, especially as they're introducing, I think, 2 subnets per week or something like that. Something crazy. They're going up to 1,000 subnets. So I think this is going to be one hell of an ecosystem. There's going to be some gems in there, and Bittensor should perform quite well in the long run. Again, we're not day traders. This is a long and strong hold for both of us.
For sure. Look, if there's any subnets that you have been doing research on, any subnet alpha tokens that we should be looking at, let us know in the comments, because we're always going to do follow-up content on Bittensor and the subnet alpha tokens.
Make sure you guys tune into the next episode.
That one is going to be a banger.
All views expressed by speakers on the BeanPod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the BeanPod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.